Good afternoon. I'm Mark McLaughlin, and today I'll be reading to you a story from my latest fiction collection, Empress of the Living Dead, 25 Tales of Horror and the Bizarre, available on Amazon.com. The story I'll be reading to you is entitled Unleashed. Maitland was drowsy but couldn't get to sleep. Small, irritating noises surrounded him. A tree branch was scraping the side of the house. A fly was buzzing at the window screen, and that cat, Mrs. Fur, was playing with something under the bed. Was that thunder in the distance? Maitland shifted in bed to look out the window. The sky was clear with an enormous full moon. Never had he seen so huge a moon. It looked like a puffy dead face with a single closed eye and a closed smile. That fly kept rattling against the screen. He snuggled into the covers, coaxing sleep. Outside, the wind died, and the branch settled into quiet. It would have been easy to get up and kill the fly and pour a dish of milk for the cat, but he was afraid the effort would wake him up completely. Low growls rose from under the bed. What was that cat playing with? And what was that smell? Something sweet yet musky. Oh, he'd spilled a bottle of aftershave a few days ago. Maybe that was it. Another boom of thunder, louder. Maitland had moved into the house 3 weeks ago. It was nice, having a place of his own. He could paint and watch TV as late as he liked without disturbing other tenants. Perhaps that was the problem. He was so used to staying up late that tonight's bedtime, 10 o'clock, seemed strange, as if he'd been sent to bed early for doing something bad. He'd been staying up especially late that week, working on a new painting. Maybe not his best, but at 5 by 7 feet, certainly his largest. It depicted a lean, muscled woman rising from a sea of mist. Twigs were tangled in her long black hair. Her staring eyes glowed pale blue with no pupils. In one hand she held a lit candle stub. In the other, a piece of red chalk. Maitland had been horrified that morning when he saw scratches running down the painting, scarring the woman's torso, belly, and hips. He had forgotten to close the door of his workroom the night before. He'd leaned the painting against a wall, and Mrs. Fur had tried to scale that long angle. Well, the cat's claws hadn't torn through the heavy canvas. Maitland rather liked the raw, wicked look of the scratches. Once he touched them up a bit, he'd even decide on a title before going to bed. Unleashed, as if violence had unleashed the demon woman. Thunder roared so savagely that Maitland sat up in bed. The sweet, musky scent was heavier now. He crossed to the window, but the horizon was completely cloudless. Down the block, some teens were sitting in a car hood drinking beers. He stared up at the moon. Then, with an ear-splitting bellow of rage, the moon's thin smile split into a jagged chasm. The closed eye cracked open, revealing a hideous, milky orb. On the street below, though, the teenagers calmly finished their beers. Maitland stood at the window for several minutes, telling himself over and over, he was dreaming, just dreaming. His pulse pounded painfully at his temples. But when he turned back to the room, he noticed a faint glow coming from beneath the bed. He approached the bed and knelt. The glow seemed to be coming from behind a shoebox under the middle of the bed, and there was Mrs. Fur's tail snaking out from behind a box. He wedged himself under the bed, caught the edge of the box with his fingertips, and slid it to the side. Mrs. Fur hissed and spat. Her paws had changed into slim, velvety hands, and she held a lit candle stub and a piece of red chalk. The candle's thin stream of smoke was sweet yet musky. On the floor she'd drawn hundreds of convoluted symbols, all cruel hooks and gut-twisty squiggles. Maitland looked deeply into the cat's pale blue eyes. As he opened his mouth to scream, a small hand plunged the candle stub down his throat.